is the breaking news about Ireland and Norway, two countries that have now officially recognised Palestine as a separate state, prompting Israel to recall its ambassadors from the European nations. We saw yesterday the Israeli ambassador to the United Nations walking around with a poster in which it basically said the Iranian leader was the butcher of Tehran. He will not be missed. So we'll talk about that with Avi Hyman, Israeli government spokesman. Avi, very good morning to you. Welcome.
Good morning, Mike. Thanks for having me on. Always a pleasure.
Not at all. I mean, I think loads of people around the world have been quite shocked at the reaction in the United Nations to the death of the Iranian president. It's been quite astonishing that he's been treated as though he's some kind of, shall we say, controversial figure rather than what he was.
Mike, we're living in a topsy-turvy world. I don't need to tell you that. Post-facts, post-reality, by which people just jump on a cause that they don't understand and get behind it. Obviously, the president of Iran was known by Iranians, by the thousands and thousands of Iranians that he personally took account for their death, put them to death. He was known as the butcher of Tehran. So we don't need to really say more than that, other than the fact that for decades, Iran has been bent on our destruction. They've said quite clearly they want to wipe us off the map. Just a couple of weeks ago, they sent 300 drones and missiles at us, essentially wanting to carpet bomb the one and only Jewish state. Thanks to Star Wars-like technology, that ended in a different way. But to see people getting behind Iran, getting behind Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, their proxies, it's absurd. And it's very, very dangerous, not just for Israel, but for the free world.
And this morning we've got some probably news that will disturb Israel even more, which is that Ireland and Norway, and now Spain has been added, I'm told, have officially recognised Palestine as a separate state, which is prompting Israel to recall its ambassadors from those particular European unions. I mean, is this something that is the beginning of a movement, do you think?
I mean, a movement to nowhere. I don't know what this means or what they think it means. It's a total disconnect from what's actually going on in the ground. So what they're saying is what? They want to suddenly declare a state. What will change for the Palestinian people? They haven't had an election in nearly 2 decades. The Palestinian Authority is run by a Holocaust denier. He wrote his PhD thesis on denying the Holocaust. He was active in many terrorist events, including the Munich massacre of Israeli Olympians. His organization, his government pays terrorists' families for life for every Jew that they've killed. The more Jews you kill, the more money your family gets. From day one, they teach their kids to hate Jews and want to kill Jews. What sort of a state would that be? And if they did establish a state, what would their army look like? Would they be allowed to have agreements with Iran and have Iranian the Iranian Revolutionary Guard come in and be towering over 70% of Israel's population and industrial base? This is absurd. This is a recipe for the end of Israel. And it is a massive, massive price for terror. If terrorist organizations are looking the world, around the world, they'll say, all you need to do is kill enough innocent people and the ICC will get behind you. The UN will back you. Because of what? I don't know. It's a topsy-turvy world and it makes no sense.
It is. It really is. Let's have a listen to the Irish Prime Minister Simon Harris speaking earlier.
Last month I stood on these same steps with Prime Minister Sanchez of Spain when we said that the point of recognising the state of Palestine was coming closer. That point has now arrived. Today, Ireland, Norway and Spain are announcing that we recognise the state of Palestine. Each of us will now undertake whatever national steps are necessary to give effect to that decision. In the lead up to today's announcement, I've spoken with a number of other leaders and counterparts, and I'm confident that further countries will join us in taking this important step in the coming weeks. This is an historic and important day for Ireland and for Palestine.
Well, it may be an important day for Ireland and for Palestine. Avi Hyman, I'll ask for your reaction on that. Just to quickly mention that video I referred to earlier of the Israeli ambassador to the UN. Turns out it's an old video and somebody's superimposed the poster on it. So, as you say, we live in topsy-turvy times. But I'm sure that sentiment would be echoed by the Israeli UN minister as well. But Avi, what does this mean for Israel? You've withdrawn your ambassadors from Spain and Norway, or from Ireland and Norway, and presumably Spain as well. What do you do now?
Again, it's a total misreading of what's actually going on the ground. The vast majority of the Palestinians have been under the Palestinian Authority for a very long time. What has it got us? We set up a de facto Palestinian state in Gaza in 2005. We pulled out every last Jew, every last Israeli from the Gaza Strip. We even exhumed bodies from the cemeteries. There wasn't a single Jew there. They threw the Palestinian Authority leadership off of roofs. They took over in a bloody coup. That was Hamas. 16 years later, they've created an underground world twice the size of the London Underground and waged war on us time and time again. On October 7th, we know they plowed through our borders, killed 1,200 innocent Israelis in cold blood and took 250 hostage. Is that the type of Palestinian state that we want to establish, that will be taken over by Hamas in a minute? Why haven't they held an election in over a decade? Because they're scared that Hamas will take over. What we need to do and what we will do, irrespective of what is being said elsewhere, we will destroy Hamas, we will bring home the hostages, we will ensure that Gaza doesn't pose a threat to us anymore, and we will go after those that seek our destruction. Now, in Gaza, and to a large extent in the West Bank, we need to work on the Palestinian society. They need to be demilitarized. They need to be de-radicalized. They can't teach their children from day one to want to kill and maim Jews. That is not a recipe for peace. And what Ireland, Norway, and Spain are doing, if they're acknowledging a Palestinian state, is they're giving a prize to terrorism. They're telling terrorists, go out there, perpetrate acts of disgusting violence, rape little girls in front of their parents, burn entire families alive, and we will gift you whatever it is that you want.
It's extraordinary, Avi. Unbelievable. We're out of time, unfortunately, but thank you. Appreciate your time.